Well, look, you've all come here today to hear about us, I assume. We got any of you, our customers already? You've got one of our tripods?
Oh, I'm waiting for.
Oh, it's right, yeah. You and everybody else, right? Yeah. Who's got a back order on for a three-legged thing tripod? Yeah. Let me explain the situation, because a lot of people, one of the questions we get a lot is that we're trying to get your tripod, but we just can't get it anywhere. It's interesting, because we've got all our tripods you see here are the prototypes that we originally made, because we can't get our own tripods either. It's they're selling out about 700 times faster than we're making them. It's just ridiculous. It's not 700 times, but 700% faster. We, as a brand, launched in January 2011, so literally 15 months ago. We launched what we thought was a pocket money brand onto the market. I mean, there's a lot of tripod brands out there, 7 of which we consider to be sort of global contenders. And we launched this little brand, this little parochial brand onto the UK market, and it just exploded. And we had no idea why. It's like owning Facebook, but we don't own that much money. Do you know what I mean? And no one's made a film about us yet. I haven't. It's strange for us, because a year and a half ago we were just like, well, let's make some more money. I own a lighting company, which I set up 7 years ago over in the UK, called Elemental. Jess was my first ever member of staff. So the criteria to get a job with me back then wasn't so high. I got lucky, to be fair. Jess is really good. She's really good for the brand and the soul. And basically, about 4 years ago, we launched a product to the studio photographers, a studio tripod called the E-Pod, and it was designed so that you could run a tethered tripod, tethered camera. So you had your camera set up and a laptop next to it, so you could tether it while you were shooting, specifically for studio photographers. And it went really well. So we did a second incarnation of it, and that sold really well. And it was at that point I said, you know, maybe we could start looking at actually making a tripod as a brand, as a company. We had this idea to come up with a brand of tripods. We're a little company. There's 4 of us, right? 3 of us which own the company, and we've got 1 guy that works in our warehouse, right? Which is really fun. It's the worst job in the world, because he's got like 3 bosses and nobody else. Just him, a warehouse, and a coffee machine. It's fantastic. We came up with the idea for three-legged thing, the idea for the brand. We had some ideas for tripods. And this really is the sort of intrinsic part of the brand. This is what separates us from the other brands that you'll see out there, is that we are working photographers. When we started out with this brand, like I said, there's 4 of us. We have a commercial studio in a chicken shed in a farm in the North Bedfordshire countryside in England. It's a really small operation. We did a lot of commercial shoots, a lot of product shoots. Jess and I mostly specialise in things like fine art nude, glamour, boudoir, any kind of fashion photography, all about people really. And so we kept finding products. Like, we've got like 3 tripods each, right? Same as you guys have probably got different types of tripod. And we just wanted one that would do all of it. Because there's nothing worse than getting somewhere with a tripod and go, oh, I needed the one that does that. Do you know what I mean? How often do you get somewhere and you go, no, that's not the bit I need this. And what we found was that these tripods weren't designed with us in mind. What's that about? Like, we've been to some of the factories where other brands are made. We've looked, and there's a guy sat in a cubicle with a computer with CAD on it, and he's sitting there, he's going, oh, I've got a cool idea, I'm going doing a design, and then he hands it to somebody else, and they hand that to somebody else, and they prototype it, and if it looks good and it does what it says it's going to do, brilliant, let's make it, and it's out to market. But no one's actually asked us as photographers, does it work? How do you use it? What do you want it for? You know? Has anybody ever come up to you from a tripod brand and said, what do you want out of a tripod? How do you want to use a tripod? And nobody had ever done it. So we said, right, let's take it down, grassroots. What do we need out of a tripod? There's the basics. Everybody knows we want stability. We need that. You want your camera to be solid. No one wants a tripod that's going to be wobbly. What's the point? You might as well just hold it in your hand. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous to assume that you would need it for anything other than just to stabilize what you're doing. So once we've got that and we know that we want a stable platform, that's a basis to work on. What else do we want? We want to be able to use it easily. So no flappy paddles, double catches, anything like that. We just want straight off friction locks. Everything you'll find on ours is just a turn knob. Everybody can do it. And then we said, okay, so Gitzo, when they brought out the Traveller in 1983, great bit of technology there with the unscrewable monopod. Fantastic idea. Why hadn't it been done before? Somebody somewhere that works for Gitzo went, this is a great idea, let's make it so you can take them. What a brilliant idea. Well, the license ran out on that about 11 years ago now, so kind of everybody does it. So we went, well, why wouldn't we do it? It would be our original incarnation, the E-Pod that we did for my other company, had the screw-off monopod, so why wouldn't we do it? So yeah, it's a given, it's a screw-off monopod. So then we said, okay, so we need, what else do we need? We want to be able to shoot low level. So okay, that's the first thing, we need to be able to get it down low. Okay, we can do that. We'd like to be able to get it up quite high so that people that are taller can use it. Not that people that are tall necessarily use a tripod up here, because if you're photographing people and you're shooting at this level, you're going to make them all look really short, right? So most people are coming down with their tripods anyway, but why wouldn't we give it the capability to run at 7 feet? That's not even fully extended, I don't think. Jess, can you just fully extend as that? This is Eric, not my counterpart, but the actual. This tripod here that you're looking at, we'll go into them in some detail in a bit. That's at 7 foot at the minute, 2 meters, 10 centimeters. Starts off at 135 mil off the deck. We'll show you that shortly. So we've got a tripod now that runs from 135 mil right the way up to 2 meters and 10. That's 6 inches up to 7 foot for those of you that work in Old Money. Folds up to 500 mil. So our smallest one folds up to 420. And the largest one, 500 mil. All of our tripods are counterfold. You seen that? Have we got a Brian or Adrian something? Yeah, here we go. So this is Adrian. This is our cheapest tripod at the minute, should we say, our least expensive. I don't know what it runs out in dollars. In the UK, it runs at 179 pounds, so it's going to be about $250, $260, something like that. Folds up to 420, and as you can see, it's just holding there. It weighs virtually nothing. It's like 1.7 kilos, including the head. And that will run all the way from 125 mil up to 1600 mil. Now this one doesn't have the extended center column in it because it's alloy. We're trying to keep the lightweight down. So also the other thing, I mean, one of the most important things was that a tripod really ought to last a good long time, right? I mean, there's no electronics in it. There's some working parts, but they're working because you're moving them. So we offer a 5-year warranty, 5 years on everything. It's a standard thing. Here's the other thing. If you break a tripod, right? How annoying. Like you might leave it behind your car, you run it over, break a piece of the furniture, break a bit of the carbon fiber, whatever. You don't want to phone. You're going to phone a store, they're going to say, well, we can't help you with a breakage, you need to go back to the manufacturer. Fine, so then you phone the manufacturer and you send them an email, and what you get is somebody answering an email that says, all right, if you want us to fix it for you, it's going to cost you nearly the price of the tripod to repair it, right? You had that before? That's unbelievable. How can it be nearly the price of the tripod if you're just repairing one section? It doesn't make sense. No one's looking after you, the consumer. No one. We're photographers. We know what it's like to be at the end of that phone call. So we want to look after you. So if you run over your tripod, you break the bottom section. I mean, it happens. It's going to happen. Or you open it up, and inside here there's a couple of tabs. We call them chicken lips. Yeah, you'll see when you have a look at them. They look like, we'll show you in a bit. They look like chicken lips. You open that up, and you drop them, and you lose them. We're not going to go, yes, for $145, you can have the privilege of posting that back to us, and then we'll send you out. We're not going to do that. We'll charge you what it costs us to make that piece and the postage to you from us in England, and you'll get it the next day, if we can do it. Most importantly, we wanted the system to be modular. We wanted it so that people do like to buy more than one tripod. So I mean, at the minute, we've only got the 4 out. We've got another 13, which are at the prototyping stage now. We're going to start introducing, because people do like to have more than one tripod. But I want people to buy our tripods and then not have to buy another one to do that next job. Because we're making our systems modular. I mean, we had a first generation product, and basically we're a small company. We didn't have an awful lot of money when we started. Our first generation product, we were buying components in from other manufacturers, right? And then re-speccing out our own tripods, and we launched out. And that's when people started to take notice, because we were producing configurations of tripods that people hadn't thought of, right? Just ideas and templates for it. And we'd only been around for about, it was April last year, wasn't it? So 4 months. We'd been trading for 4 months. and been out of stock for 3 of those months because it was kind of, well, we generally thought we'll sell 20, 30 tripods a week, and the world went crazy. And that's when I get a phone call from these guys, why aren't we selling your sticks? And I'm like, what? Who are B&H? I didn't know, right? I know, it's bad news, right? I did know, but I mean, I'm getting phone calls from different stores saying, when can we sell your products? And it was at that point we realized that we had something that just tangible, something different, right? So we took it back to basics. We had some issues with the first gen production. Our products are made in China. We've never made any bones about that at all. No issues manufacturing in China. If I could afford to make them in England, we'd be charging $3 a tripod. It's just, it simply isn't possible to do it in the current economy. It's just, it's just not feasible. So we took it back to basics. We redesigned the entire range from scratch, started again. It took us about 7 months to get it to market, which was December last year when we relaunched. And we launched 3 months of tripods and sold out in a day. I mean, that's, it's unquantifiable. I cannot tell you. The day after we launched, I get a phone call from B&H. Danny, we need some more tripods. Yeah. You and everybody else. I mean, but honestly, it's impossible for us to quantify. We have no idea why, except the fact that what we're doing is we're making all of because we're making them modular. When we bring out the 29mm range, because this is currently the 26, the 29mm range, similar products in terms of, if we have a 5-section 29mm tripod, it will still use this friction lock, this friction lock, this friction lock, and then there'll be one bigger above it. So it's the same components essentially. We're trying to make it so that, in 10, 15 years time, you need a part for your tripod. You can get it because we're making the same parts. We're using the same tubing. We're one of the few manufacturers that makes our own carbon fiber. You probably didn't know that. But of the 7 or 8 global brands, only 3 of them make their own carbon fiber. The rest of them buy it in, which isn't a problem. But of course, if you're buying in carbon fiber, it's very difficult to regulate it. How good is it? Where's it been? How did it get processed? I'm sure they've looked into it. But we make our own carbon fiber. So going back to the monopod thing. So because we've made our systems, our tripods come apart completely, right? You can take the whole thing apart. Jess is going to take a monopod off for you now. You can strip it right the way down to bare nuts and bolts. You take it in the ocean and it fills with water, you get salt water in it. The last thing you want is corrosion. Now you're not going to get much on our stuff because we use only the highest grade T6061 aircraft grade magnesium alloy. So it's really, really high grade metal. And the carbon fiber, obviously, that's the chicken lips, the 2 white bits you see there. But you can take the whole thing apart, strip it down, rinse it off, dry it. That's the important part. If you're using it in salt water, it's not the rinsing that's important, it's the drying. You've got to dry it, and then you can put it back together again. We don't recommend it because it'll take you a couple hours to do this. This is Brian, he's not got a center column in it. That tripod has 168 different components in it without the head. So there's a lot there to take apart, but you can do it. We give you the tools to do it in part of the kit. And it just means that you've got a user serviceable entity. You're never going to have to phone me up, Danny, I've got a problem with you can do. Send it back to us, we'll sort it out for you, no problem, no charge. You want a tripod service? Phone me, send it back. As long as you pay for the postage, we'll do it for you, free of charge. But you can do it yourself, you can save yourself that effort, and you get to know your tripod. So with the monopod, the only thing that can really go wrong with it, in terms of working parts, is there's washers inside the friction locks, there's the chicken lips at the top of each of the sections, there's a mini pin that holds the top part of the monopod into the tubing, and you've got a screw off foot. Is that tightened?
Yeah. It's the rapid arm that's rattling.
Oh, is it right? Oh, it's yeah. Just taking a foot off for you now. One of our many modifiers. We're bringing out a couple of converters. So if you want to put a speed light on here, you can hold it out, a little speed light adapter, so you can use it out different. It's a modular system. My friend, you look like a strong man. Can I take that a sec? Stand up. What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony?
Yeah.
Or Anthony?
Either way.
What would you prefer? Tony?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Jeff. Is that right? Try and move it. Tell you what, turn around and face the camera and try and move it.
Try and do what?
Move it. Put some weight down. He is. This guy's putting, look, can you not hear him grunting? I can hear the sweat falling off him. You don't believe me? Come have a go.
Right.
No, come have a go. Go on. You want to go? You sure? You will get it to go down eventually. You got a camera that heavy?
I'm just following.
Can you imagine that? You go into a football match, you'd be like that.
You said try and move.
So all our tripods are rated at 8 kilos. 8 kilos. Anybody else want to have a feel? Because we made them. We've made them. We rate it at 8 kilos, right? Because you're going to get yourself a D3S. It's about 17.5 pounds, something like that, right? Times 2.2, 17, 18 pounds, something like that. You get a D3S with a 600 F4. It's going to weigh about 8.2 kilos, something like that. It will hold it. Jess is demonstrating something here which is quite relevant if you could get it on.
I'll do what you do, I'm not looking.
So normally, we use the Arca Swiss fitting, the standard Arca Swiss fitting. We do it because it's good. It is good, it's solid. There's no quick release. Again, somebody can't come up and, you know, Manfrotto do a quick release plate on the top of the pan head that you get with the 055, I think it is.
645, isn't it?
Is it a 645 head?
Something like that, yeah.
Quick release, it's got like a little trigger thing. Do you know how many knuckles I've lost trying to open that thing? Skin gone. It's a good system, it's click, but when it's cold, it locks. Arca Swiss, when they came up with the idea for the plate, it was fantastic. It's a clamp, it's just turn, done. You can't get this off. If you give a quarter turn on that, that camera's not coming off. A half turn, you have to unwind it all the way out for that camera to come off, so it's locked. And this is what it's about. This is a $5,200 camera, I think, in this store. You don't want that falling out because someone's done that. Do you know what I mean? I'm undoing it. I'm undoing it. I have to undo that all the way to get that out. And that's what I want. I want security. So here's the other thing, is that, and I can't believe nobody else did this. And if they did, nobody told me. Normally, the clamp undoes from the side here. Have you noticed that? You get an Arca Swiss clamp, you normally got a knob at the side there. You can't quite get your fingers to it. And where's your trigger finger? Oh, it's under here undoing the knob. How does that make sense? What if something happens, you need a picture? You go to go like that, the whole thing falls on the floor, it's ridiculous. So we put it under the lens. See how much space there is there? It's intuitive. Your hand's underneath the lens, there's more space, you can get to it. Where's my trigger finger? On the trigger. Why has nobody thought of that before? I'll tell you why, because a photographer never designed a tripod before. Isn't it obvious? Does that not seem obvious to you guys? So this bad boy, this is Jack. People ask us why, this is Adrian, sorry. People say to us, why the funny names? At the minute we've got 4 tripods. We've had 2 from the first gen that we've discontinued. We're bringing out second gen versions later in the year, but we currently have 4 tripods called Brian, Adrian, Eric, and Jack. Yeah, it's cheesy, we hear that. It's the rock legend range. They're all named after rock stars, rock guitarists, rock anything, right? We did it because I saw a tripod once and somebody said, what do you think of this? And I was like, yeah, this is cool, what is it? And he was like, oh, it's an MT68451. And I went, all right, cool. So I run down to my local store and I went, have you got an MT68451? And the guy behind the counter went, what? Do you know what I mean? Who knows those kind of product numbers? Who knows? Everybody knows the Manfrotto 190 XB and the 190 and the 055, because it's the 190 and the 055. Name me another product. The Gitzo Traveller, because it's got a name. So we went, let's make it easy. This is called Adrian. You walk into a shop and say, a photographic shop and say, I want an Adrian. You think they're going to go, let me just check how many Adrians I've got on my computer here. 1. Our first tripod, we called him Brian. It's called Brian. Again, you know, you walk into B&H, I want a Brian. No one behind the counter is going to go,
Oh, they might. They've never heard of us.
I have 183 Brians. Which one were you after? It's not, you know, it's a bit of a gimmick, fine. But it's to make it easier for you to turn around and say, look, we've got a 3-legged thing, Brian. When your friends want one, cool, I'll go in the shop and ask for a 3-legged thing, Brian. One of the reasons behind the brand, it made people take notice. We're called 3-legged thing. What that says is, it's a 3-legged thing. It is.
If you want a product that's going to last you a lifetime, why wouldn't you give it a name?
Yeah. We called.
Rename it after you buy it.
You can call it whatever you like.
Doesn't have a lifetime.
What do you want to call it? You're not going to marry it? What?
Pinky.
Pinky? What, like
Just don't call them that when you're.
Pinky? So emasculate. What are we doing tomorrow, Pinky? Yeah.
So grease.
Is that a whole throwback to Pinky in the Brain? Trying to take over the world.
Domination.
Yeah. We just like the idea. We've got a product coming out called the Jeff. Not Jeff, the Jeff. Because I don't want somebody else releasing a product called Jeff that's going to be better than ours. They can't now because ours is called the Jeff. What are they going to do? Release one called the other Jeff? Jeff 2, the sequel. We've rounded it off. So look, what we're trying to get across to you is that we've worked hard. We've worked hard to make these products work for you, do what you want them to show you how they work, to show you how they can work for you. And some of the stuff we've got coming out, I mean, we have design meetings. If you've seen the videos on our website, I don't know, right? We like to have a bit of a laugh, and we've got videos of us singing songs and doing all sorts of weird rubbish, right? It is a fun place to work, but we work 90 hours a week. You know, the three of us, 90 hours a week, constantly. It's constant pressure. B&H want more products. Some guys in London want more products. The US military has contacted us. The US military has contacted us. They want Jack.
That's something you should disclose.
Yeah, they didn't say it was a secret. Just said, is that something we should disclose? I have no idea. I didn't see on the email that said, don't tell anyone. I'm not going to tell you where we've got to send it to, but they've contacted us because we're making a tripod that folds down this big, that goes to 2 meters and 6. Have you ever heard of such a thing? I mean, fold up Jack for us, Jess, if that's all right.
Fold them up.
Yeah, fold him up. So this is Jack, right? He's one of our alloy tripods. Again, I don't know what the price is in the US, but in the UK he's 199 quid, including the head. Rated to 8 kilos, weighs 1.9, including the head. He's identical in every way to Eric, which is the carbon fiber one here, right? They're identical, except that he's made of alloy and he's made of carbon fiber. Our alloy is so light, so dense and so strong that the difference in the weight between these two is 150 grams. Welcome, sir. Come in.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
I'm gonna be here. I got no time.
No, but the best bit's in about 15 minutes. You can't hover at the door. You're gonna... No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Do what you like.
Do you want to put this one good? Hold it up.
I was going to ask you to take this. So 500mm folded. So it's not one of our travel range. The smaller one, Adrian, which we unfolded earlier, will go in your travel. That's the word I was looking for. Carry on. Thank you very much. Or was that just a heckle? Carry on. Get on with it. All right. It'll go in your hand luggage. Is what I was going to say. Right. I love that. Carry on. Weird boy. Yeah, it folds up to 420. You can actually put it inside. I use a Think Tank bag. You guys know Think Tank? Awesome. Think Tank airport takeoff. I can put that tripod inside it with 2 bodies, 3 lenses, my flash gun, a Pro Pack, whatever. This one's 500mm, so it's a bit bigger. But, Jess, take it right away up to 2 meters 10. So it's counterfold. It's as simple as folding the legs out. There's a little catch on it. It's completely mechanical. You just push it in to lock it into place. We have 3 different angle adjustments on all of our tripods. They're all the same. We run 23 degrees, which is your more vertical one, 55 and 80. 80 degrees. You know how many other tripods run 80 degrees? Why? Why not? Why? Why has nobody made it run 80 degrees? You know, any of you guys shoot macro? Okay, we're going to talk about macro in a bit and talk about why it doesn't make sense the way things are at the minute. So Jess, this is obviously legs at full extension, right? I've got to be honest. If you stick a $5,000 camera on top of that at full extension, you're an idiot, right? I mean, any tripod at full extension is not going to be, it will hold it, no problem. But it's not, you know, if you're doing long exposures, that's ridiculous. I've got Eric over there set up as a strobe stand because why wouldn't you? How many of you use off-camera flash? Yeah, wouldn't it be cool? I mean, you're using off-camera flash, so you don't really need to lock off because you're using the flash duration to freeze the subject anyway. So if you're going to run handheld, why not use your tripod to hold the flash? I'll tell you why, because it's at eye height and you're going to end up with it bouncing back in. So why not get a tripod that goes to 2 meters 10? So you've got a flash up here, put a modifier on it. Amazing shots, what you can do. Just another option. Why aren't people using tripods to hold their lights up? Who knows? Here's the thing, underneath here where we've got a spring hook. Let's just take that down a touch, yeah. You got it? See the spring hook underneath that Jess is going to unscrew, which you can add ballast on, so you want to hook your bag on there and give it a bit of stability. Underneath here, there's a thread, 3/8 thread. It's exactly the same as the thread at this end. So if you want, just chucking one out there, you could put another camera underneath here. You want to run one inverted and one on top that's doing video? Why not? It's the same at both ends. If you want to do macro work, our columns just come out straight back in on the underside. You haven't got to push a button, unclamp a thing, just done. Jess has done it, and she's a girl. By the way, I am just kidding. I'd like to make a point here. These two products here, Eric and Jack, designed by this person here, 24 years old. She's really annoying in the office, though. It's not true. Can you imagine what it's like to work in our office? She is smart. Yeah. I mean, there are some almighty fights. There's some real kickoffs. Like if we videoed them, jail time. So look, most people, if you can you just unextend the? Yeah. You know, you said ask you to do stuff. I love the way you do it before I even got there. Just take that one. So if you're shooting macro, most people shoot inverted. Do you guys shoot inverted to do macro to get your camera down to the floor? Blank looks. Does anybody here shoot inverted? Do you shoot? How do you shoot macro then, sir?
The 55 with the center arm that swings around.
You use the boom that comes down. Do you know what?
It's okay.
It's a great idea, but you get that boom stuck out and you put your camera on the end of it and the whole thing goes boom. Because what's holding it is no ballast at the other end. We've got a way around that. We'll come to that in a bit. It is a good idea. You know, you've got the arm that comes out. But even so, with the arm that comes out, how do you get it lower? So at the minute, if you're running inverted like people do, see this space here? I'm going to turn it that way so you can all see. This space here, right? You've got to get your hands in. I mean, most central columns are not that long. You've got your head on. You're working you're trying to get it to the floor, so you've only extended the legs that far. And this is your working space, right? You don't have to play the piano. That's just what I'm doing for this demonstration. But your camera's upside down there. It's harder to see the screen. You can't get to the button. You've got to focus on something that's this far away from the lens, that's tiny. How is that a good working space? So you take our legs out to 55 degrees, right? Jess is going to take it in one section because we're in a smaller space here. You take it out to 55 degrees. That does one of two things. One, it gives you a massive footprint, right? So you are taking up more space. That might be a disadvantage in certain areas. I mean, you know, nothing's foolproof. We just try and make it as versatile as we can. So all of a sudden, you've got a much bigger footprint, a more stable area. Yes. Now you want to get your camera to the floor. Jess, show us how we get the camera to the floor.
Well, with this one, you could drop it right down. But if I had the legs fully out, still drop it to down.
So that's, I mean, there's not even a camera on that. I mean, we could get that touching the deck. There's still that much left to go. You know how much space you've got to work down there now? Your camera might be inverted, but you're there. I mean, you can climb into this gap. You know, I've got a bit of a beer gut. I still fit there. Why has nobody done it before? Who said you have to work upside down with a camera in a confined space? Not a photographer. Not a photographer. Somebody sat in a booth somewhere and said, turn it upside down, let's do it. So then we get people that say to us, okay, so you've got this double extended center column or triple on Brian. And we've had our criticism. We've had people say, well, that's just extra sections. Surely you lose stability. So we went, you're right. That is extra sections. Yes, you lose stability. So what can we do about that? How do we gain that stability back? I'll tell you how. You take the column out. Yeah? Oh, you're just going to take it off this. Okay. Save me disassembling this. Jessie's just going to take the one off Brian here. Because, again, it's off another tripod. All our systems are modular, so you can just mix and match, do whatever you like with whatever tripod. So now that head, it's screwed straight onto the tripod. So there is no extra section. There's no loss of stability. Because the way this is set up, if you wanted to now, I don't know how much thread you've got underneath it. Yeah, loads. You could slot that up. For those of you that can't see, feel free to stand up and have a look. We'll show. So we've now got a system that's running 2. And all I did was screw the column that was already there into the bottom of the plate that's there. Why? Because we can. This is the crux of our product. You've seen this product, this tripod a minute ago was at 2 meters and 10 centimeters. That's 7 foot. Jess has just pulled the legs in, dropped it down. There it is, 135 mil off the floor. Yeah, you got it? 135 mil. Do you know why that's cool? You know how many other tripods in the world can do that? 3, and they're all ours. Fact. 135 mil to 2 meters and 10 centimeters. 6 inches to 7 foot. And this is a lazy demonstration. It's nice and easy, very, very slow. You're in the work. It takes you no time at all in the field. You want to work that out? You take the center column out, take the plate off, mount it on. People buy extra plates from us so they don't have to swap them over. Our mounting plates, underneath there, it's got a threaded bolt that's got a 1/4 inch on one end, 3/8 on the other. So if you don't want to use the ball head, you just want to mount your camera, just use the 1/4 inch thread. Turn it upside down, screw through. Why? Because a photographer designed the product, not a CAD engineer. How many of you get, when you was kids, got a present at Christmas, right? And you open it and you go, this is awesome! No batteries. Do you know what I mean? Let's get batteries. It's Christmas Day, nothing's open. How annoying is that? So, as Jess says, you get a tripod, head, plate, stubby column, tools. Why do we give you the tools? So you can service it yourself, so you can take it apart yourselves. So you can tighten it up if it gets a little bit loose, and they will. After a while, you know, you're using them a lot, things loosen up. You just tighten it. That's why we give you the tools in the first place. And the case. Nobody gives you a case with a tripod. Why? Why? Yeah, I mean, and the case is, when we initially designed the case, it was just like a black tube. And we kind of went, let's make it orange. Here's actually, the color's a really relevant thing. We haven't mentioned this. We've had a few criticisms. See the blue head on here, and then the burnished gold furniture, or warm titanium as we call it, and the copper plate. And people have said to us, it's a bit blingy, it's a bit gimmicky, it's all about, you know, making it look good. Well, it is. It is about making it look good, because you know what? Why is our industry the only one that doesn't embrace things that look cool? Why is that? It's true. You go to buy a suitcase now, you can get massive flowers printed on it. You know, anything, any other industry, you buy stuff and everything's looking cool. TVs that are thin, glass around the edges. And it looks cool. It's not like you walk around carrying a telly to look cool. But you carry these things with you everywhere you go with your cameras. Why shouldn't they look cool? So we went, yes, let us be making things look cool. It was like the 10 Commandments. Yes, they shall be cool. And they were. But more than that, people think it's random. People think it's a random thing we come up with the gold. The differentiation, so you can see, is our alloy tripods have the black furniture. And the carbon fibers have the kind of warm titanium. These aren't random colors, and you can have the blue head or the black head, doesn't matter, whatever you choose in the kit. They're not random colors. These are Pantones that we've taken from natural environments. Do you know the one color that doesn't exist in nature? Anybody? Black. True black does not exist in nature. So if you put a tripod, and this is black, we admit, but you know, we're not going to break down every traditional notion. People want a black tripod, so we give them a black tripod. But if you put this, a black tripod, or any black tripod, in a woodland on an autumn day, what do you call autumn? Fall, on a fall day. Bit of sun rippling, there's leaves falling, stuff like that. And you put this one next to it, and then take a picture of them both at 50 yards. You know which one you'll see? That. So when we hear wildlife photographers going, I couldn't take the gold and the blue, it's too blingy. The birds will see it. Yeah, because blue doesn't occur naturally in nature, does it? The sky. I've got a picture. We've got a picture on the website. I can't link to the web here, I don't think, but on the website there's a kind of a behind-the-scenes link. There's a picture of Sean, who's one of our other directors. He's taking care of things in the chicken shed at the minute, in the snow, with one of our carbon fibre tripods with the gold furniture in the snow, and you can barely see it because the colours are designed so that they naturally blend. In any environment, the carbon fibre is grey. It's not black. It's grey, because it's more natural to have those kind of tones, those kind of greys. So if you are looking at doing wildlife photography, you know, they are just less obtrusive. So you know we were talking about shooting macro earlier, we shoot inverted with the column extended down. So our stone bag, this will work on any tripod, right? Basically you hang it underneath and you can use it to ballast down, you know, get some weight onto your tripod, give it sturdy. But ours has got a rip-up hole through the bottom. So if you're shooting macro, you can pass the column through, still get your camera to the ground, and still add ballast to it. You know why? Because it was designed by a photographer. And not by somebody that went, oh, just make a bag, or I can put stones in. You know. It's true.
Well, seeing as though Dan did the introduction, I'll say thank you all for coming. It's been absolutely awesome time so far in New York. Like Dan said, it's my first time, and you've all been really great, and you've put up with Dan for this whole thing, which I'm so impressed by, because now you know how I feel every day at work.
It's true.
Our website is www.threeleggedthing.com. You can find all the details about us, all the details about the products on there, anything new we've got coming out. Feel free to ask us, email us, absolutely anything. But thank you so much for coming and making this a good experience for us, because we were not prepared when we came in here.
We had no idea.
For more information, please visit us online, give us a call, or stop by our New York City Superstore. You can also connect with us on the web.